Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki. Jaya Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrakacharya Stotara Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Senapati Bhakta Srila Prabhupada ki. Mantra Upasaka Srila Prabhupada ki. Preeminent Shiksha Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Savior of the whole world, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jaya Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrakacharya Stotara Shata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Premsa Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Shri Shri Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Shri Mayapur Dham ki. Shri Ganga Maya ki. Yamuna Maya ki. Tulsi Maharani ki. Bhakti Deva ki. Sama Veta Bhakta Vrinda ki. Gaura Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 16, entitled Praise of King Prithu by the Professional Reciters. We're doing verses text 9 and text 10. I will read text 9 and we can do text 10 together. Apyaya yatyaso lokam vadanamrita murtina sanuragava lokena vishada smita charuna. Translation. This king, Prithu Maharaj, by virtue of his affectionate glances and beautiful moon-like face, which is always smiling with great affection for the citizens, will enhance everyone's peaceful life. Text number 10. You can repeat after me. Avyakta Vartmaisha Niguda Karyo Gambira Veda Upagupta Vita Ananta Mahatmya Gunaika Dhamma Prithu Pracheta Iva Samvritatma Avyakta Vatmaisha Niguddha Karyo Gambira Veda Upagupta Vita Ananta Mahatmya Gunaika Dhamma Prithu Pracheta Iva Samvritatma Avyakta Vatmaisha Niguddha Karyo Gambira Veda Upagupta Vita Ananta Mahatmya Gunaika Dhamma Prithu Pracheta Iva Samvritatma Avyakta Vatmaisha Niguddha Karyo Gambira Veda Upagupta Vita Ananta Mahatmya Gunaika Dhamma Prithu Pracheta Iva Samvritatma Avyakta Vatmaisha Niguddha Karyo Gambira Veda Upagupta Vita Ananta Mahatmya Gunaika Dhamma Prithu Pracheta Iva Samvritatma Avyakta Unmanifested Vatma His policies Esha This king Niguddha Confidential Karya His activities Gambira Grave Secret Veda He is accomplishing Upagupta Secretly kept Vita His treasury Ananta Unlimited Mahatmya of glories Guna of good qualities Ekadama the only reservoir Prithu King Prithu Pracheta Varuna the king of the seas Iva like Samvrita covered Atma self Translation and Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki. The reciters continued, no one will be able to understand the policies the king will follow. His activities will also be very confidential, and it will not be possible for anyone to know how he will make every activity successful. His treasury will always remain unknown to everyone. He will be the reservoir of unlimited glories and good qualities, and his position will be maintained and covered just as Varuna, the deity of the seas, is covered all around by water. Purport. There is a predominating deity for all the material elements, and Varuna or Pracheta is the predominating deity of the seas and oceans. From outward appearances, the seas and oceans are devoid of life, but a person acquainted with the sea knows that within the water exist many varieties of life. The king of that underwater kingdom is Varuna. Just as no one can understand what is going on beneath the sea, no one can understand what policy King Prithu was following to make everything successful. Indeed, King Prithu's path of diplomacy was very grave. His success was made possible because he was a reservoir of unlimited glorified qualities. The word Upagupta Vita is very significant in this verse. It indicates that no one would know the extent of the riches King Prithu would confidentially keep. The idea is that not only the king but everyone should keep his hard-earned money confidentially and secretly, so that in due course of time the money can be spent for good practical purposes. In Kali Yuga, however, the king or government has no well-protected treasury, and the only means of circulation is currency notes made of paper. Thus, in times of distress, the government artificially inflates the currency by simply printing papers, and this artificially raises the price of commodities, and the general condition of the citizens become very precarious. Thus, keeping one's money very secretly is an old practice, for we find this practice present even during the reign of Maharaj Prithu. Just as the king has the right to keep his treasury confidential and secret, the people should also keep their individual earnings a secret. There is no fault in such dealings. The main point is that everyone should be trained in the system of Varna, Ashrama, Dharma, so that the money is spent only for good causes and nothing else. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Be'evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Text 10 again. The reciters continued, no one will be able to understand the policies the king will follow. His activities will also be very confidential, and it will not be possible for anyone to know how he will make every activity successful. His treasury will always remain unknown to everyone. He will be the reservoir of unlimited glories and good qualities, and his position will be maintained and covered just as Varuna, the deity of the seas, is covered all around by water. Hare Krishna. So Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not Vishnu Tattva. Prithu Maharaj is a jiva. He is not an ordinary jiva like you and I, but he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to carry out some purpose. In this case, Prithu Maharaj's purpose is to protect mankind. In the previous chapters, we learned that King Vena was the king, and he is a bad bargain of a king. King Vena was such a cruel king that thieves and rogues dared not cause mischief while in his presence. They did not want to garner the attention of the king, because if they did, they would meet a very cruel ending. They were at least that smart. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. If we look at our current society in the world, we find that when the social economy is in a bad state, we find that terrorists and drug dealers and so on take the moral ground and avoid trouble. Fear makes them think twice. Once King Vena died, the rogues and thieves of the world started to rise again. And for this purpose, a new king was summoned. This new king was Prithu Maharaj. In these two verses, we read Prithu Maharaj's presence is all auspicious. Just by his figure alone, he can enhance the peace of the citizens of his kingdom. And this verse here, verse 10, a brief description of Prithu Maharaj's ability to rule is spoken of. The first one mentioned in this verse is that no one will be able to understand the policies followed by the king. When we hear about policies, we think about terms and conditions by the business industry or rules laid out by the government. But this policy is not the same as mentioned in this verse. In Vedic culture, Kshatriyas were trained in the Artha Shastras, economic development. The Vedic literatures are divided into 4 kinds of knowledge: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So Artha is economic development, and in the Artha Shastras, there is a section that refers to policies. This is called the sixfold policy. I'm not familiar with the 6 policies, but I do know the first 2 and the last one. That is peace, war, and double policy. Double policy refers to engaging in making peace with one party and simultaneously going to war with another party. As Prabhupada says in the purport, no one will know how Prithu Maharaj will apply these policies to make his endeavors successful. In the 7th canto, we read that Prahlad Maharaj, when he was going to the Gurukul, they teach about friends and enemies. These friends and enemies that Prahlad Maharaj was referring to was Artha Shastra, and Prahlad Maharaj did not like it. But from the description of today's verse, we can assume that Prithu Maharaj was an expert in this matter. Prithu Maharaj was empowered to maintain this world and his kingdom as his kingdom, so he would need to be expert in understanding friends and enemies. Prithu Maharaj's treasury is mentioned here, and no one will know about the wealth of the king. The lesson here is that Prithu Maharaj is not a show-off. He will not be flaunting himself as a big deal. He will not be asking people to praise him and worship him like how King Vena was demanding. Our behavior in Kali Yuga is the exact opposite of Prithu Maharaj. We want to show off our wealth, wear name-branded clothing, wear fancy jewelry, have a nice car and a big house, and show off how lavish our lifestyle is on social media. To take it a step forward, we love to be envied by others. Why is it the cultural norm in modern civilization? And the answer is that this trend was originally started by Kali Yuga personified. In the Bhagavatam, when Kali Yuga personified is introduced in the first canto, he is described as a man with a stick beating the bull. Then Bhagavatam describes the physical appearance of Kali Yuga personified. He looks like a Shudra dressed like a king. This sounds familiar because that's how people behave in the modern world. They pose as a great person but are terrible in reality. Now a Shudra is a fourth-class man, a low-class man who is influenced by the mode of ignorance. But he is dressing up and behaving like a great man, even though he is lacking the qualifications to be a first-class man. It is a noticeable habit in the West for people with no money, especially, to dress up fancy, to go in front of an expensive car and take selfies. Look how good I look with this expensive car in the background. Sometimes I've seen visitors come to the temple and take pictures of themselves with Radharanath as the background. This is Kali Yuga behavior. Prabhupada says in this purport that secretly keeping one's wealth, like having a treasury, is an age-old tradition. Depending where you are on the social ladder, it will decide how you kept your wealth. If you are poor, you would most likely keep your wealth under the bed. I remember when I was in school, there was an article where a drug dealer's home was raided by the police, and they found loads of cash under the bed. If you are better than poor, you would have had a safe in your home, and there you would have kept important documents or jewelry or gold inside. And if you were an aristocrat, you would have had an entire room that was usually inaccessible, and that room became the treasury, and you would keep important assets inside. This is how wealth was supposed to be kept. In Prithu Maharaja's time, there was no such thing as money. If you wanted to buy or sell something, you would trade things of value with things of value. We see this in the Krishna book. There was a lady who was selling fruit, and Krishna remembered that his parents would trade grains for other items, and Krishna took 2 palms full of grain to trade with the lady. That's how wealth is meant to be used. And we can see that Krishna favors this method and not paper notes. Prabhupada is explaining the problem with paper currency. At times of distress, the government will inflate the currency by printing more paper money, and in turn, the price of commodities go up. This causes more distress because now it becomes more difficult for people to afford necessities. We see that America is undergoing this problem, and other governmental heads in the world can see the problem, and they don't want the dollar to be the reserve currency. As Kali Yuga progresses in the name of modern advancement, we can see that society is being pushed into the era of digital currency. That means that they want to do away with paper money. This comes with its own problem. For example, in our experience, sometimes we have people or know someone who accidentally deletes their contacts on their phone, or accidentally deletes something important from their devices. In the same way, what if someone deleted your bank account accidentally? Then what happens? You'll have no record of your wealth, and instantly you'll have no money. This is not a theory, but a reality, as an incident like this had happened purposely previously. Some celebrity was helping the community and so on, and he was becoming very influential. And other powerful people did not like that. And one of the things they did was freeze that celebrity's bank account. From being a multimillionaire to having no money, just because someone made a decision. As Prabhupada says here in the purport, just like a king has a treasury which is secret, the common people should also keep their earnings secret. There is no fault in such dealings. The comparison here is of the ocean. From the surface, all you see is the top of the waters. But those who are aware will know that beneath the surface of the ocean is a whole different world, with its own living entities living in their own economy. But you wouldn't know that unless you go under water to experience it. Similarly, no one's going to know your earnings unless you give them a reason to go looking for it. Since Varuna, the deity in charge of the seas and oceans, is mentioned here, there is an additional point to be noted in relation to the treasury. And this relates to Arjuna, one of the most powerful warriors in the Mahabharata. He is also the third Pandava, and the one thing he was famous for was his mastery in archery. He would have the special bow that he always carried with him, and that bow was named Gandiva. If you read the Mahabharata or even the Krishna book, there is a part that relates to Arjuna receiving the Gandiva bow. The pastime starts with Krishna and Arjuna coming to Indraprasth, where they had arrived. And when they had arrived, the deity of fire appeared before them, Agnidev. Knowing that the Pandavas were in charge of the land, Agnidev requested that he devour the forestry in the surroundings because he wanted to eat the medicinal herbs. It's apparent that even the devatas get the flu, and so they also need medicine. After receiving permission from Arjuna, Agnidev ate up the forest with his fires. When Agnidev was done, he awarded Arjuna for helping him. Agnidev gave Arjuna a war chariot with horses, and this war chariot was what Arjuna used in the Mahabharata war. But Arjuna also received something else. Agnidev had given Arjuna the Gandiva bow. If you read the detailed interaction between Agnidev, Krishna, and Arjuna, you will see that before Agnidev handed over his gifts, he disappeared for a while. In that time, Agnidev went to visit Varuna. It was there that Agnidev borrowed the Gandiva bow from Varuna. In that scenario, there is a brief description that describes Varuna as a master of weapons or something like that. And at the end of the Mahabharata, when the Pandavas have retired from worldly affairs, Varuna appears before Arjuna and he takes the Gandiva bow back. This is a subtle indication that is very important, and that is Varuna's military strength. We are also given this indication right before the fight between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev. Prior to meeting Varahadev, Hiranyaksha went to visit Varuna because he had heard that Varuna was a very powerful warrior. To think that Varuna as a master of weapons is a fair estimation. And when you think about it, with the lifespan of a devata like Varuna, you cannot imagine how many civilizations have sprung up and fallen in due course of time. And the civilizations, along with their traditions, inventions, technologies, and weapons, would have all washed up into the ocean, adding to Varuna's military power. The comparison of Prithu Maharaja's treasury to Varuna, the deity of the seas and oceans, is appropriate not only for one's wealth, but also for one's military power. We see in our modern society that different nations keep military secrets, and certain secrets are open military secrets, such as having nuclear weapons, which can destroy the current world. This verse also describes Prithu Maharaja's innumerable glorified qualities. So you must have heard this class after class that Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation of Godhead. Prithu Maharaj is an empowered living entity. Prithu Maharaj is a Shakti Avesh avatar. Prithu Maharaj is a pure devotee of the Lord, and so on. So it is natural that he has innumerable divine qualities because he is coming from the spiritual world. then what about us who are conditioned souls? How are we going to develop all these qualities for our own advancement in Krishna consciousness? The answer has already been created by Srila Prabhupada, as Prabhupada had made the statement, "I created your good fortune." Prabhupada has created the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a house where the whole world can live in. It is the very place where devotees can gather. Prabhupada has said that 90% of advancement in Krishna consciousness is dependent on devotee association. And the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is the number one place for devotees to gather and develop Krishna consciousness. And part of that development is to be trained in Varna, Ashrama, Dharma. And in that way we can properly utilize our belongings to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes Varna, Ashrama, Dharma is described to be like lifeboats by which the conditioned soul can use to cross over the material ocean. And for that training is required. Without training, it is very possible that you can drown again in the material ocean. So I'll stop over here. Any questions or comments? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.